everybody, it's Cat and Sid. I'm Cat.
I'm Sid. 今天周三了。
So what?
What do you mean so what? 周三。周三 Wednesday. Wednesday. 你忘了吗？
Monday left me broken. Tuesday I was through with hoping. Wednesday my empty arms are open. I'll be waiting for them, waiting for.
Welcome back to Thank God It's Wednesday, where every Wednesday we talk about stuff that happened in the past week.
好久不见了，各位！停更了5个月之后 ，TGIW 回来啦。
Yeah, but didn't you make like super sad video, TGIW XXX? We were just like, oh, maybe this type of video is too serious for our audience. It's not happy enough, you know?
我们想要开心，我们想让看我们视频的观众也开心，我们想要回到以前的那样子，那个可能会让很多人觉得很傻，但快乐的离开的是。
So what happened? Why did you bring it back?
在没有 TGIW 这段日子里，然后我只能看别的节目嘛。然后我学到一个很厉害的道理，他是这么说的：我不要你觉得，我要我觉得。
我不要你觉得，我要我觉得。
我觉得我做 TGIW 很开心啊，不然你觉得呢？好，这个问题不需要商量，都听我的。
Wow.
上周国内网友讨论非常多的一件事情是中国男篮作为东道主在世界杯表现不佳，不但没有进16强，还失去了直通奥运会的资格。网友们表示十分失望。
It's okay, the American team lost too.
所以强队都输了，是不是？赛后记者问姚明，如果失利的责任一定要有一个人承担，那会是谁？然后姚明就回答了一个字：我。
如果说这个责任一定要有一个人负担的话，那会是谁？我。好，谢谢姚主席。
然后这个强有力的一致回答也登上了热搜。
我姚明。Is this the Ming Xue you've been talking about?
不是一个名，那个是黄晓明，这是姚明。好像确实是同一个名字，不过不是同一个名。不过我合理的怀疑，姚明是不是有在偷偷学明学？就明学也不是那种，我的错都是我的错，
所以我的错，好吧，我的错。
姚明和黄晓明都是作为团队中的领导，然后都主动把失败的责任揽到自己的身上。但为什么大家对姚明非常认可，然后对黄晓明又非常反感呢？所以是不是明学本身的字词其实也没有问题？就问题是在于这个说话的人。就说话前与说话后的行为做法，是不是在给他的责任心作证？就姚明给大家印象就是他从球员时代开始就一直很拼、很踏实、很努力，然后退役回国作为篮协主席，其实也是放弃了更轻松的生活，就主动承担责任。所以当姚明说这个话的时候，就让人觉得可信度比较高。但黄晓明作为中餐厅店长，很多时候他确实就是失误的主要负责人，但他承担责任时说话的方式又比较敷衍，后续的行为表现也没有让人觉得他在自我反省，所以产生反感。讲到网友对男篮的吐槽，这时候有另一支球队会不会觉得非常耳熟？好，我们讲好男篮，那就讲一下男足吧。
Well, last week in the World Cup qualifying games, China versus Maldives, the first ever naturalized soccer player without any Chinese ancestry, Helgeson, made his first appearance. He actually made 2 goals, so you could say this is a pretty perfect debut.
规划球员带来的效果真是立竿见影。当然也有讨论说，马尔代夫的世界排名150名开外，就赢马尔代夫不算什么。同时，规划这个方向、这个办法是不是可持续的？就作为一个业余球迷来说，我想说，现在回答这些问题其实还太早了。规划球员在提高成绩方面是一条捷径，大家常说捷径不可取，但问题是，国足的是不是有点迫在眉睫？ 这次走下解禁效果好的话，大家对国足的信心又增加了，是不是会对青训以及职业化的投入更加增多？是不是这种不可持续性会变成可持续性，也算是一件好事吧？但另一方面又是中国联赛水平，其实在亚洲已经是数一数二的，薪酬水平甚至在世界范围都是很有竞争力的。比如像广州恒大等球队，他们吸引了非常多很厉害的海外球员。那对于中国年轻球员来说，在家踢球不用经历语言以及文化上的磨合就能拿高薪，那他们还有动力去竞技水平更高的欧洲联赛锻炼吗？就比如看隔壁的日本队，他们其实早在20-30年前就开始了规划之路，但真正使他们成为亚洲强队的，还是本国青训体制的完善，以及对球员留洋之路的支持。
Actually, I'm kind of curious about something. So there's only one naturalized player right now with no Chinese ancestry, right?
Right.
Well, what would happen if in the future half the team is in this situation? What would you think?
I don't know. 对，确实在血统这方面，中国和美国确实有蛮大的就文化差异，就是不同的想法。
Yeah, I feel like the standards of what makes Chinese Chinese and what makes American to American is really kind of different. You know?
对，也有点复杂。就这个问题，我们可以之后有时间再讨论。
So the controversy surrounding Shanghai Disney has been going on for over a month now, and last week we had some new developments. So people are focused on two issues. Number one is whether or not people should be allowed to bring in outside food. Number two is staff members manually checking people's bags. Is this an invasion of privacy?
对，我们觉得这两个问题呢都有双面性，所以我们可以分开来聊一聊它。
Regarding the outside food issue, we actually checked Disney's official websites, and they seem to have some inconsistencies with this rule. So in Hong Kong Disney and Tokyo Disney, outside food and alcoholic beverages are prohibited. However, in their two parks in the US, only alcoholic beverages are prohibited.
然后上海迪士尼上周也修改了他们的规则，就除了少量的特殊食物，就比如说有异味的或者需要加热加工的东西，其他食品、饮料是可以携带入园。
So with regards to this issue, I do think that Disney didn't really do the best job that they could have. You know, they have different policies for different regions, and they didn't really explain why that is. So it's understandable that people would have a hard time accepting that.
对，但是其实最开始上海迪士尼是可以外带食物的，但马上出现了乱扔垃圾的问题，所以迪士尼就干脆说就不能带了。这样来看的话，乱扔垃圾是导火索嘛？如果大家一开始就把垃圾扔垃圾桶里，然后不乱扔垃圾，可能就不会出现了后面的规则改变，可能也不会有现在的上海迪士尼争议。但还是要从游客的角度来讲的话，迪士尼能不能想到更好的解决垃圾问题的办法？就比如说，有流动的清洁人员，就是到处清理垃圾呢，或者他们的形象不符合迪士尼的卡通人形象，那就把他们打扮成卡通形象。就这样子来看的话，迪士尼在解决垃圾问题上，好像就是采用的最简单粗暴的办法，就是你就不能带。就这和他们努力在营造一个 Dreamland 的形象好像不是非常符合。所以总结食物问题的话，我们觉得游客确实有责任去保持卫生和安全，确实就一整个西瓜真的没有必要带进园区。但是迪士尼方面应该也要根据市场的不同，然后更加灵活的去管理。那我们就来聊第二个问题，人工翻包的问题。
About the bag checking issue, we did search online about this, and it does seem like they do the manual bag checking in all Disney parks, but it's not clear how thoroughly they check all the bags in all these parks.
很多国内消费者觉得自己被翻包、被侵犯隐私，但我觉得迪士尼翻包检查不能直接和侵犯隐私挂钩。迪士尼是作为一个收费的游乐园嘛，然后它跟那种一般的开放式的公园不同嘛。就如果你在开放的公园被要求翻包检查，这有点像说你走到大马路上突然被叫下来说看一下你的包有什么，就这样的话有点侵犯隐私。但是迪士尼就是要保障游园的安全嘛，而且它之前就有规定说某些什么东西是不能带的， 然后是要安全检查的，所以大家去之前也是有备而去的。就这个时候，你一定说哦不能放红包，这是侵犯隐私，我觉得有点太偏激了。
But why is it that when you go to a Disney park, people have to go through the metal detector, but your bag is going to be checked manually? Disney's official statement is they're trying to protect the safety of their staff members and also the cleanliness of the park. But if you're talking about safety, isn't it more reliable to use a machine to check bags like at the airport?
是不是因为机器的话没有办法检测出食物啊？有没有专业人回答一下？不过现在迪士尼对食物的禁令也打开了，所以迪士尼其实可以就培训一些工作人员来配合机器安检嘛。就毕竟还是个娱乐场所嘛，娱乐场所就是大家心情不被影响，其实也是蛮重要的一个环节。就总结来说，我们觉得在这个事情上都有双面性，大家都应该互相理解，不需要上升到某个高度去。就站在一个公司的角度来讲，的确很难实现一步到位嘛。这次对话就排除一些极端的言论，我觉得总体上还是有进展的。就大家有了交流之后，才能相互进步。同样是来自美国的大公司 Costco， 他们在8月底开业的时候就被挤爆卖空，然后前几天更是因为茅台酒的销量大出风头。
What we're really curious about is, it seems like the Costco model was really brought about by this American lifestyle of everybody having a car and people being used to driving out to the suburbs every week and buying a whole bunch of groceries and just like keeping it in their house, right? But that seems really different from the Chinese lifestyle. It seems like a lot of people here, they go to the Caichang maybe once a day and they decide what they're going to eat that day, right? At the same time, you have these delivery systems that are so advanced and fast. So it seems like you don't really need to stockpile your groceries, right?
所以 Costco 在中国那么火爆，我们还是蛮意外的。就我们不知道这种火爆是不是只是一个短期的现象，就等到这个新鲜感过去之后，大爷大妈还是回到楼下的菜市场。就其实这种模式的公司，比如说 Sam's Club， 其实在中国也有一段时间了，但也没有见到这么火爆的。所以对于 Costco 这种主要以会员费盈利的模式，然后它的会员流程率应该不可能达到像美国那么高的情况下，就未来它的表现是否还能这么亮眼，我们就拭目以待吧。
So in terms of Costco's entrance into the Chinese market, not really sure how that's going to turn out in the end. But you have to admit, their rotisserie chicken is pretty good.
对，说到烤鸡，我突然想到了 Kentucky Fried Chicken， 肯德基。肯德基最近好像有点闲不住，他们最近好像不只想要凭他们的鸡肉打天下，他们还想比鸡肉。他们上周宣布在 Steam 上发行一款恋爱料理游戏，就玩家可以扮演料理学校的学生，然后学习各种炸鸡技术，甚至还可以跟肯德基老爷爷谈恋爱。这可能就是所谓的大叔的爱。然后游戏的画风大概是这样的。
Wow.
Actually, this whole image transformation started a while ago. They've been promoting this like sexy muscle colonel guy and trying to disassociate from this old colonel grandpa kind of image. I still remember that Mother's Day ad.
I hear you're the best mom in the world. Well, what do you think, Forrest?
就我看来，这好像是一种非常美国式的宣传方式。就美国现在很多公司都在比谁更无厘头，然后谁更 weird， 然后这样才能得到 attention。所以我们看了看美国社交媒体上，好像大家好像还是蛮能接受的。当然，肯德基的形象在中国和美国真的是天差地别。所以我很好奇，中国的消费者是怎么看待这个转型？ 好，这就是第5期的 TGIW。其实开头那一段有在开玩笑成分，但是说真的，我们真的有不断的在努力尝试各种视频的模式，然后我们是真的觉得 TGIW 这个模式我们做起来就蛮有成就感的。虽然它的制作流程不简单，也比较累，然后压力也会比较大，但我们还是觉得，我们想要做这个。
And we hope that you guys will give us any suggestions that you have, like what parts do you like, what parts do you think are boring. You can tell us all of these things, so please tell us. And also, we would love it if you guys would comment, like, and repost this, and also follow us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank God it's Wednesday.